to be back. It's feels like it's been forever. It's only been a couple days, but it feels like it's been forever. A lot of things are happening, man. A lot of things this summer are going on. It's been crazy. It's been busy. I've had some issues with some diagnosis. I've had some. Man, we had a storm the other day and knocked down a tree branch, fell on my neighbor's shed. That's a headache. My daughter is done with school for the year. She's home all the time, just trying to find stuff to do, things to do for her, keep her occupied, keep her off the iPad, keep her keep her busy. So we're working on that. We're working on the tree. We're working on a health diagnosis that I got recently, and I won't go into too much detail just for reasons of anonymity. But I'm working through that. I got a plan. I've got things I'm working on with that. Um, and my sleep hasn't been the best. It's been pretty tough going. So I've thought a lot about this topic today, guilt and shame, and just the role that addiction plays in guilt and shame, and how it just keeps us in that cycle, keeps us coming back for more. Alcohol is so insidious like that that it just keeps us coming back. It keeps us coming back for more. It feels good in the moment when we're drinking. If we kind of escape those feelings, we're able to numb out for a little bit of time. We're able to kind of um, take a vacation from our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and go into that cave and kind of just ignore reality, ignore the things that are going on in our lives. Uh, because let's face it, things are difficult. Things in this world, they're difficult to deal with. People are difficult to deal with. Sometimes our jobs are difficult to deal with. Our kids, just it can be hard. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about today, and kind of go into depth about how sobriety has helped me um, in those feelings and get over those feelings of shame and guilt. Because guilt is one thing, but if it's leading us to feel ashamed, then that's a whole other story. Because if we're feeling ashamed for ourselves, there's no way we can function properly. There's no way we can give ourselves what we need. There's no way that we can. And good morning, Carlos. Welcome, Javier. Welcome. And Bob, I was. This is particularly about alcohol, but it can be about drugs, alcohol, any of those kinds of things that hold us back. Any kind of things that we're stuck in addiction with. So it can be anything. Guilt and shame are paramount in addiction. It's you can't see it when you're in it. I mean, it's hard to recognize just how bad we're feeling if we're stuck in addiction, and if we're not able to admit and acknowledge our problems. That is the main one of the main things, uh, to be able to recognize it, give it some weight. But it's hard to do that when we're still drinking. And so that's what this topic is about, getting kind of over that guilt and that shame. Bob asked a question: do you think alcohol is completely bad for everyone, or some people can maintain it? I do believe, after being 5 years sober, I can tell that there are people that can have a drink, have a drink or two, and be done. But there's also people like myself, and also my group, my sobriety group, that knows that if you're going to drink one, you're going to drink a ton. And that's really what that issue leads to, is we feel guilty for how we're behaving while we're drinking. We feel guilty for the choices we're making, the things we're saying to people that we care about, and then that just ultimately leads to shame. And if we're feeling that way because of drinking, that really can it can really do damage to ourselves, damage to our family. and ultimately stunt our growth in this world. I mean, we're meant to grow up. We're not meant to grow old and just get older and not grow. Um, and if we're feeling ashamed of ourselves and our behaviors, uh, man, that's a whole nother story. So the thing is, and that's what this topic is about today. Um, Bob says, in my mind, or in my mid 40s, and only drink once a week, about 6 to 7 beers for the last 10 years or so. Yeah, I mean, I watched a movie a few years ago, a Denzel Washington movie. I think it was called Fences. And that's what he did too. He was a one night a week drinker. He'd work all week, and Friday night he'd get together with his friends and or a friend or two, and he'd drink, and he'd just drink a lot, and it was hard liquor. And I kind of looked at that like, wow, if you can go all week and not drink, that's pretty great. I mean, I was never able to do that. Um, but the thing is that showed just how he behaved on that one night that he did drink. And so I guess my question for you would be, do you think that it's causing you a problem or problems in your daily life? Are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about alcohol? Are you thinking about how you behaved while you were in that drinking session? Because 6 or 7 beers isn't a ton, but 6 or 7 beers is enough to make you kind of cloud your judgment and kind of make you say and do things that you normally wouldn't say or do on a daily basis. So, do you notice that? Um, that would be something that I would question personally. And so, I was a 10 to 12 beer drinker. Um, 10 to 12 beers was usually around my average, I'd say. Sometimes it was more. Sometimes it might be a little bit less, especially depending on if I started late in the night and I had to work in the morning. um, I might not drink as much as I normally would because I didn't want to deal with the fallout from that, the hangover, particularly the hangover. But I mean, on average, if I was had a steady job at the time and I had to work or had things I had to do the next day, I might only drink uh, like say 10 light beers. If I'm mixing alcohol, if I'm mixing hard liquor in there, if I'm mixing wine or other things, and getting more inebriated, easy for me to say. Um, if I'm feeling that way, uh, I know that I'm gonna have a headache, and I drank for long enough to recognize kind of what I could get away with and not feel bad the next day. That was really what I was shooting for with my binge drinking, was not feeling so bad the next day that I wasn't able to function. Um, but getting some distance from alcohol, I recognized that, man, that was no way to live. I wasn't living. I was only surviving. I was not thriving. I was not growing. I was not able to maintain the type of relationships that I wanted. And that's kind of why I made this topic about guilt and shame in particular, because uh, I've had for the last couple weeks some things that are not going my way at all. And I've noticed myself getting a little bit more short with my daughter, or with my daughters, with my wife, and even just with myself. And I don't like it. And it's not terrible, but it's to a point where it's like, I gotta do something about it. And my therapist once said that awareness is the opposite of ignorance. And it's easy for us to stay ignorant and stay kind of, oblivious and want to sweep our problems under the rug, forget about it, uh, continue drinking or doing whatever it is that we're addicted to. But if we do that and we don't acknowledge what our problems are with alcohol or drugs or whatever it is, um, we're not really able to do anything about it. And what can happen in that period of time is debt can be detrimental to our future. So, Bob, you say my wife and four kids all say I'm funny. Three of my kids are grown now, but I don't believe in drinking in public, just at home. But I do understand the struggles with alcohol. Yeah, I was a particularly a at-home drinker. The main reason I was an at-home drinker was because I got a DUI when I was 19. Um, I like hearing the inside on other people's option about or opinion about alcohol. That's awesome that you're even looking at it, you're questioning it. If you, I mean, if you notice anything that's if it's holding you back in any way, if I mean, they say you're funny. If you feel like you aren't having an issue with alcohol, then more power to you. Um, but yeah, I mean, it can be a slippery slope. That's the one thing that I learned in the early stages of my sobriety was that there were certain different levels of addiction. And the book that I read, This Naked Mind, by Annie Grace, kind of used the pitcher plant as a kind of an example of addiction. So you've got the ones that are like a weekend drinker like you, 1 day a week, Bob, where you're just kind of at the top of that pitcher plant, just sipping the nectar, enjoying it, not seeing any bad things happen because of it. But then you've got some of the people that enjoy it too much, and they're the ones that are kind of slipping down into that plant and really kind of like falling down further and further in it. And then you've got the ones that are really far down, that are like at the bottom of that, drowning. And I wouldn't say that I was at the bottom. I wouldn't say I was at the top. I was still in the middle. I drank for 27 years. I was at the top of that pitcher plant for probably a couple, maybe a year, 2 years. But then I turned to other things, and that really caused me more problems, caused my decision making to be bad, and so. But like I said, when I got the DUI when I was 19, that was like 4 years after I quit drinking, and that was really when I started to slide down that pitcher plant and really started to lose my way. And I stayed in that middle of that, and to varying degrees, at the top and bottom of it, um, but sliding kind of up and down, uh, sometimes falling to the bottom. I wouldn't say I was completely at rock bottom for that whole time, but my rock bottom basically was I didn't have like a typical rock bottom where you end up in jail or with serious health issues. My rock bottom was I lost my jobs. I had a panic attack. I ended up in the hospital. Um, I didn't have any significant other. I didn't have a job. I didn't have school. I didn't have a significant other. I didn't have a good place to live. I didn't have didn't have a lot. That was my rock bottom, and the panic attack really opened my eyes to say, look, I got to do something about my life. I gotta figure this out. I'm tired of feeling like less than. I'm tired of feeling like I wished I had more. Uh, I'm tired of wanting more but not being able to get it because of drinking, because of my lack of self-esteem, because of just my inferiority complex, where I just felt like I looked around at others my age who had all their shit together, And it felt like it was 99% of the people that I knew that had everything together, and I was just part of that 1% that just couldn't do it right, couldn't get the ball rolling, and kind of live the life that I wanted to. So I was feeling guilty. I was feeling ashamed. You can't tell now. I mean, it's kind of reddish, but my face would get really red in social settings. I felt really self conscious. I felt really um, nervous in public. I couldn't handle it. So that's really why I drank at home. I didn't want to deal with people. I didn't really want to drive drunk or drive even after having a couple beers because of that DUI. That was really kind of something that changed my life completely because staying at home and isolating was really something that I looked forward to in my daily life. I looked forward to kind of escaping into watching sports, drinking one beer after another, and just like isolating away from my family. And yeah, I mean, I still hung out with them. I mean, I was still like in the living room. I didn't just like go to the basement and or go out to bars and like just kind of ignore my family. I mean, I was around them, but they weren't drinking, and I'm sitting here and I'm drinking one beer after another, and I'm getting more and more inebriated as the night or the day goes on, and that presents a problem. That's isolating in and of itself. Um, it's kind of like that's kind of when I started to recognize that this is really an issue, and I need to fix this. So in sobriety, and I'll get to the point. I guess in sobriety, we start to learn tools and techniques to live a better life. We start to um, gain tools that we wouldn't have been able to gain if we continued to drink, uh, sober tools. And one of the biggest tools is a community. So that's kind of why I formed this channel. That's why I started doing these live streams once, like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on schedule, so people can come on here and we can have back and forth, have a community, and talk about what we're going through because it's huge. Being able to have a community of people, tools, and uh, you know, camaraderie with people that completely get it, that are stuck in addiction or getting sober because of their drinking being a problem. And that's what this is all about. So, sobriety has been able to help me uh, get over those feelings of guilt quicker. And then I don't, so that it doesn't have time to lead to acts of feeling ashamed for myself. Um, that's really a huge thing. See, if I was drinking still and I was feeling guilty and I was continuing to drink to kind of wash away that guilt, um, it never leads anywhere good. So the more that guilt and that those guilty feelings build up, the more we get to a point where we start doing things that we're ashamed of, and that's really where things start to unravel. Is when we're feeling ashamed for ourselves, and the only way out of it is to find a group of people that we can relate with. uh, Find, maybe we need a therapist. I know I did. Maybe we need medication. Maybe we need literature. Quit lit really helps reinforce in our minds just how much of a problem alcohol can be. to our self-esteem, to our self-confidence. Um, Not having to think about alcohol all the time, what I'm going to drink, when I'm going to drink, how much I'm going to drink, all those things, they go away in sobriety. So you don't even have to think about alcohol anymore. It's not an issue. It's not even on your radar anymore. And then when you start to think about have a craving for drinking, have an urge to drink, you can turn to your group. And I've got a group on Facebook. It's a private group. It's called Sobriety in the Storm. And we're on there 24/7. And we've got plenty of people on there that understand what addiction's like and how it affects our lives. And we don't have to live uh, like that anymore. We don't have to live in guilt and shame and low self-esteem and low self-worth, um, or think about drinking anymore. We don't have to live like that anymore, and that's really a huge thing. So, uh, like I said, please like and subscribe to this to my channel. If you found value in this live stream, please click on my little icon and go to some of my videos. Uh, Check out my videos, and all my comments pinned below each video is my sobriety group, Sobriety in the Storm. I also have my videos pinned in the comments below on all my videos. So please check those out if you're struggling, if you're sober curious, if you're sober but still struggling. Please check that out. Keep this channel going. I really have a passion for making these, for making live streams, for making videos, for making content for people, spreading the good news that faith and sobriety are paramount in a better life, and it's possible to have a better life free from alcohol, free from drugs, and I'm testimony for that. So it was great to see you all. Uh, Please check back on Monday. I'll be back. Have a great sober weekend. If you're struggling and you need help with anything, please reach out on here on my channel or on my Facebook group, Sobriety in the Storm. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday, 10 o'clock.